ridiculous. Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So how are you guys doing with your holiday shopping? I am doing pathetically awful, worst year ever. If either of you is all done, I maybe can't be your friend anymore.
Can't say as I'm done, but I have a big pile of Amazon boxes sitting here.
You are so good.
Well, I think half of it I'm going to have to return, though. That's the only problem with shopping online.
Well, there you go. I feel better now.
You feel better.
I have nothing, but I have nothing to return. So there you go.
See? Bright side.
I have one box. I ordered some calendars because I always order calendars for certain people every year. So I have that box. I ordered my daughter a calendar from some YouTube star she likes. Has merch, and so I went and ordered, and it has not come yet. It was expensive, and it has not come yet, so I don't know.
Oh.
It's one of these things, I think they do a very small limited edition of them, and then wait 3 weeks to send it out, and then it takes 6 weeks to get to you. So I've broken the news to her that it may not get here by Christmas. She's fine. She's just super excited to get it. It's like daily bumps, I think.
How about you,
YouTube
Catherine?
thing she listens to.
Well, I'm doing pretty well, mostly because my list of recipients shrank significantly because of our trip to Hawaii. So we are doing barely anything. And, like we always get the sausage and cheese box for it's my husband's late mother's boyfriend, partner, companion, whatever. I mean, effect almost like a stepfather to my husband because he'd been, they were together for 30 years or something. Wow. But they never lived together. Anyway, so I already
podcast itself.
Yes. We have to have a podcast on unusual family stories because I think we've all got them.
Yeah.
So I already ordered that. I have a friend who I buy for, her family, but they celebrate Hanukkah. So I had to be on that because that started already. I'm left with my niece who also has a birthday right after Christmas. Oh. So I need to take care of both of those things. But that means I'm waiting for my husband to discuss it with his brother. So wish me luck.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I'm waiting for my husband to decide what he wants. But his birthday is right after Christmas. So it's like he has to tell me two things. And he's like, I don't need anything. It's like, well, I'm going to get you something. I can get you something you don't like, or I can get you something you do. It's up to you. So I should just buy myself something, when he doesn't like it. Thank you. I'll take it
if you don't want it. And I actually ordered cards. So I'm excited that I made it that far. We'll see if I can get them out by the time I have to leave town.
Like Christmas cards? Are you doing Christmas cards? I thought that was gone the wayside.
I'd still like to do that. I skipped a year. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before that I skipped. But I still like to do them if I can, and I like to get them. So.
Well, I know
I haven't gotten any. Nothing.
I've gotten a few.
We've gotten a few. Fewer than usual, though. But I think last year we discussed that you thought you were going to send them out.
Me?
But I wonder if you did. Yes. We had a whole conversation about it, and I said that was a nice dream.
Yeah. Well, I might have ended up not. I honestly cannot remember if I did or not. So
I would like to be the kind of person who does that, but there's just no way. It's a nice dream. One day, when I'm old and have nothing else to do, I will start sending cards out. I do enjoy getting them.
Yeah, I like getting them. So.
But
anyway,
nothing here. No gifts, no cards, no decorating. It's like a week till Christmas now, right? As this podcast drops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. maybe I'll just do everything on Christmas Eve. Maybe I'll do, in addition to my wrapping and my decorating, maybe I'll do my shopping then too.
And
the store shouldn't be too crowded
and
then, right?
And also bake something quick on that day.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm not sure I can bake anything with an oven that turns off randomly without announcing itself. So I've kind of decided that baking will not be a possibility unless we get a new oven under the tree.
Well, there's a dandy excuse to not have to bake.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, except I like baking, and I like baked goods, and I want my pumpkin bread and my ginger snaps, but I'm just nervous. I guess I could just stand and stare at the oven the entire time, but that seems impractical.
Sit with your back to the oven so that you can just feel it if it cools down. And do your work, and with your back pressed up against the window.
Yeah, he would trick me. It would find a way. It would turn. I would open it up, and there would
Raw
be like
dough.
just goo everywhere. Well, on this festive holiday note, let me say hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, complaining about, and whining about right now. I'm Terry Morrow, and with me today are Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hi.
Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about words of wisdom on our Friday speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, are you taking care of yourselves?
Yes. We thought that, especially at this time of year when, you know, I don't know about you, but my kids have a lot of homework and the teachers are trying to get stuff in before the break, and it's all the extra holiday chores and tasks you have to do, which for me, now that I've moved on from having teacher gifts to worry about, it's coach gifts. Like, ask me how many figure skating coaches I'm buying for. 8 is the answer.
Wow.
8.
Yes. Yep. So anyway, that can be stressful. And, you know, in addition to the just day-to-day, daily grind. So we wanted to talk about what we do to relieve parenting stress. Is there anything? And if not, how are you still functioning? So, Nicole, what are your methods for self-care and stress relief?
My go-to? It definitely includes a nap. Naps are important these days. What do I do? Let's see. I play my Bejeweled Blitz on my phone. I take some time out to play a game on my phone, or Candy Crush, or Words with Friends. What else do I do? If I want to really treat myself, I'll go to Starbucks. That's a big deal. Because I find that I'm not out as much anymore. Like before I would, especially when I was, picking up and dropping off kids, it was easy to just kind of, duck into Starbucks or a lunch spot with a friend, or I just found it so much easier to make time for myself than when I was waiting around and out and about. But now that I'm not doing that and I'm at home a lot more, I don't get out as much. So the things that I do are typically things that I can do at home. So, so it's pretty limited, but, and I suppose I should include exercise in there, but that's, I try to. I mean, I'm getting better.
Are you?
I am. I don't get on the treadmill. I have a recumbent bike, so I'm actually trying to make more time for that.
Good.
And, but I don't know. I have to say, like, I'm pretty, as people have heard on past podcasts, I'm pretty weighted down with my children's issues these days. So there's not a lot of self-care going on. It's pretty limited.
Which is, of course, when you need it most, right?
Yeah.
But that's when
exactly. Yeah. But,
I know, I do.
Like, last night I didn't get to sleep until 1 a.m. And so it's just, it's hard. Yeah. I don't know. Terry, what do you do?
That's a funny joke, as if I'm the one who's going to be an expert on this. Here's how you relieve stress. Here's how I relieve stress. Every now and then I just lose my top and scream at my family, and then the stress all pours out, and then it just starts to build up slowly again. So I don't know. I read anything you read for parents of kids with special needs is all about, you have to have self-care, you have to do this, take care of the caretaker, you have to take the oxygen mask down for yourself first before you give it to your kid, all this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, I understand that theoretically, but realistically,
right.
There's just stuff. There's always stuff. How can you just say, excuse me, put your crisis on hold, I'm going to go take a bath, I'm going to go to the spa. I'm going to go. It just doesn't stop. And, I'm home all the time, which is not, as you say, Nicole, is not ideal. I sort of,
right.
There was a way in which even though going to work in an office is stressful in its own way, it's a break from the home stuff, which I just do not get anymore at all, ever.
Yeah.
So for a long time, my friend would come out every weekend, and she and I would go to Starbucks, and that was kind of my opportunity to let off steam and just kind of think about myself for a couple hours. But now she's got lots of family stuff going on, and she doesn't get out here very much, so I don't even get that. So I really don't know. I mean, I feel like it's something that I should be doing. I think everybody around me suffers when I don't, but I just don't know how I can particularly. I'm starting to call the point in the evening where I sit on the couch and it's very comfortable. Even we got a new couch. I had hoped we would get one that was too hard to sleep on, but alas, no. Apparently I can sleep on anything. So, you sit on the couch and you feel kind of sleepy and relaxed, and you think, I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute. And then it's 3 a.m. So I'm calling that my self-care time. That little moment of self-delusion where I think I can close my eyes for a minute and then get up and keep doing what I need to do. This is my body saying, you know what? We're turning out the lights, lady.
Right.
That's it. You're
Stuff
done.
will still be there in the morning for you to fret about.
Yeah.
Well, just like Nicole said, naps.
Yeah, naps, even if you have to trick yourself into taking one.
Yeah.
Every night I say this to myself. Even as I nestle down and I go, this is stupid. Stop this. No, just for a sec. Right. Self-delusion.
Night where it's...
as self-care.
Yeah, there you go. Self-delusion as self-care.
That's right. That's right. We do what works for us.
Catherine, I feel like you're much better at self-care than what I am. And perhaps.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty good about exercising, and I find ways to make it fun. Like, when I'm walking, if I can walk outside, I like that. And usually I listen to podcasts while I do that. And it's motivating to walk if I know I have a fun podcast that I want to listen to, And it's been, I've been a little bit sick with a cold for the last couple of weeks, and I have not wanted to walk outside because it got cold and damp and yucky. And so I was on the treadmill even more, and I found that I would be on the treadmill, listen to a podcast, and also play a game on my phone or an iPad while I was doing all of those things. So, it's not exactly the most, intense exercise you've ever known, but it does, take your mind off things. So,
I'm very happy if we can now say that playing a game on your phone is self-care. Because that's cool. I have my little faux free. I'm doing some self-care right now in Sandbox.
There you go.
As we're talking.
That is a very relaxing app.
It really is.
That is very nice.
Sandbox, which we talked about several weeks ago as a Roundabout Roundup item, I think. It's just a color by numbers app, and it's like adult coloring books are all the rage for stress relief, and this is just another version of that.
Yes, so. It's very relaxing, and you feel like you've done something at the end of it. You have something to show for your time-wasting self-care.
Yeah. And there was an article that I stumbled across in Lifehacker called How to Treat Yourself Without Spending Money or Eating Junk.
Yeah, I was going to say
possible?
eating junk is another big stress reliever, but not so much self-care, I guess.
Yeah.
Cheez-Its are delicious, but
eat your feelings and they taste like... Yes. So, it had some good stuff in it, I thought. I mean, most of it was pretty what you would think of.
Yeah.
But one person said, like, playing video games is relaxing to me, and I just need to give myself the permission that this is my self-care.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then,
yes.
And that's sort of what you were saying, Terry. Or just being a little intentional about things. Like if you're making yourself a meal, you could be listening to some music or an audiobook or something while you're doing it, just to make it a little. And I always like, I really don't like going to the grocery store, so I usually get Starbucks to drink while I am walking around in the aisles at the grocery store. So a way to just kind of improve the experience if it's something you have to do anyway. So yeah, we'll link to this article. It's got some. It makes some good points, I think, even if nothing is super earth shaking in what they tell you.
Well, that's a good way of thinking about it, though. Those little things we do to treat ourselves are a form of self-care, and oftentimes we feel guilty about them.
Right.
But maybe we need to just reclassify them in our brain from wasting time to just taking a few minutes off from everything and focusing on something that gives us pleasure.
And, it's a way to do it that doesn't take over. I mean, if you probably, you don't have an hour and a half to take a yoga class or whatever it is, but you have 10 minutes to stretch a little bit while you're watching TV, or you have 10 minutes to play a little game.
Yes.
While you're waiting for your hot water to boil for your tea or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's a good way to think of it. Because that's about the only kind I'm going to get. So
right, self-care in 5 to 10 minute increments, please.
Stuff you were doing anyway and just didn't realize that's what it was.
Right.
So instead of hiding from your family that you're doing, you go, "I'm taking my puzzle time now."
That's right. Tell them.
Yeah.
Could you go see your friend, the one who can't come to you anymore? Would you be, or is it the situation is not allowing for that either?
No, I don't. I mean, I really probably could go out of the house and do things, but I feel like I always have stuff I should be doing. I always have work I should be doing, and if I'm not doing work, I should be doing stuff around the house. So to say, I'm going to go drive for 45 minutes and go have coffee with my friend, even though I could.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna, and which is a problem because it's really not fair for her to always have to come here. And that's sort of, I don't know if that's the reason. I think it's just that she and her husband are being torn in a bunch of different directions, having to do things for family members.
Yeah.
So, instead of being the weekly thing, we're now on the list and our time comes around. It's our turn to have them. And that's nice. Right. But I mean, I should just go out. I mean, I'm a grown up. I can get in the car. I can go to Starbucks by myself and sit, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And, I could go there and then I could talk to you guys on Facebook and it would be just like having coffee with my friend.
That's right.
Right?
We would do
that at home too. Yes. Talking with friends on Facebook. These podcasts are self-care-like for me sometimes.
They are, surprisingly. And a lot like therapy.
Yeah. Just, sitting down and talking to a friend for a length of time. I know we've all said we don't really like talking on the phone. So I don't have that experience of just letting everything go and talking to somebody for a long time on the phone. So because this has the veneer of something that I'm doing for quasi-work-like thing, I can justify it, and then it's just like having a fun conversation. And, our Facebook conversations as well.
Right.
So if you spend time chatting with friends on Facebook, I wouldn't say social media in general does not feel very self-care-like to me anymore.
No.
I'm having to turn off many of the faucets that once filled my delightful bath of social media, and recently have been either scalding or freezing. But, if you can talk to somebody in messaging and about what's going on in your life, that's nice.
Right. Or certain blogs or podcasts that are of a topical, or not topical, but that aren't about politics or whatever. That
exactly.
You can enjoy listening to, and they can be an escape.
Going on Twitter is not the answer.
Man, I keep just like taking down all my links to Twitter to try to force myself to stop going on there, and then I want a distraction, and I just keep going on, and then saying no. I have to just lock the door.
I thought I don't even go on Facebook anymore. I used to enjoy going on Facebook, and I can't.
I unfollowed 2 people today just because, I would just like to scan my news feed without.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I have a few podcasts that are just. I think I've talked about it on Roundabout Roundup before, but if you like TV Avalanche podcast is quite enjoyable and pretty non-political. I don't think they've said very much there along those lines. So
no, they just talked about how Elizabeth Warren likes the show Ballers.
Yes, that is as political as they've gotten mostly.
Which is very amusing, even though I don't know what the show Ballers is, but
something that you would not expect Elizabeth Warren to be into. So, but that's. So you find things like that and, little corners of the web that are entertaining.
Yes.
But you have to tiptoe more and more carefully lately if you just want it to be a relaxing self-care experience.
Right.
Which is not to say that some people don't find the political dialogue invigorating. This is something different.
Yes.
It's when you want to get away from that and just,
right,
make the world small for a few minutes. I know it's so important, and now I have some ideas. That's good. I'm going to start reclassifying every little, small, tiny, selfish thing I do as taking care of Mom.
It is. Absolutely.
As well needs to be. Well, that's pretty wise. We've already dispensed some wisdom
look
here.
At us. We're going to
look at us.
Move on to even more.
We're somewhat wiser than usual in this podcast. Usually we don't know. What do we do? I don't know.
Well, since we're so wise.
now we show our opportunity to blow it completely.
Let's see if we can condense our words of wisdom into only 4 words.
Yes.
Can we do it? It's a challenge.
I don't know. Brevity does not seem to be our strong suit.
Our past contributor, Susan Adcox, put together a list of words of wisdom on Facebook, which I actually have not had a chance to see yet.
It's very cool.
Each suggestion was only 3 or 4 words. So now we're going to challenge one another in our speed round to come up with one or, some words of wisdom. A phrase.
Some 4-word words of wisdom.
Yeah, that can only be 4 words max.
Okay.
So, are you guys ready? You're good to go? You got something in mind?
I got something in mind.
Yep.
Okay. Catherine, you're up.
Okay, well, Terry, don't think this is directed at you. But mine is don't put it off. Because I find that, if there's something I don't want to do, not doing it really does not help. It really just makes me feel worse and makes me feel, like I'm slacking and I feel guilty and I have it hanging over my head like, I gotta do that. And what if I forget? And it's just not a happy way to live. So just do it, get it over with, and then you can go on and live your life. And it's so, I just thought about this because whenever I do something like in advance, whenever I help future me by, remembering to buy something at the store that I'm out of, or, or buying 2 tubes of toothpaste so that I don't have to buy it for, an extra, couple months or whatever. Whenever I do that, it's self-caring. So that's my...
I don't know. I kind of think procrastination is my self-care strategy.
Well, there you go. So it works
That's
for
okay.
you.
This is stressful, but you don't have to deal with it right now.
Right.
But I do like framing it as helping future me. I think that's very nice. Yes. Future me, I'm going to take this off your hands.
Right.
Mostly I just curse old me. Former me.
Right.
Past me.
Past you.
Past me? Why didn't you do this?
Why?
It would be done.
Why?
I would not have to worry about it.
Now it's the problem for present me. Dang it.
Yeah.
So that's mine. Don't put it off.
That's yours.
Those are very good words of wisdom, and I will think about those later, eventually. Sometime.
At some point, you will.
Yes. Well, my 4 words often come to the rescue of future me when she realizes that past me screwed up and it's all on her. And those words are, take a deep breath. You feel much better.
You will.
Take a deep breath.
And I think that's good advice for pretty much any time, anywhere, when things are starting to gang up on you. Get a nice little head rush of oxygen.
Yes.
Things look better briefly. And then you can take another one.
Yeah. And it's free.
It is.
And it's free.
Indeed.
Love it. Well, mine comes in handy as well. And I think it can cover sort of all areas of life.
Excellent.
And all aspects of life. Anything from raising teenagers to dealing with husbands to work-related issues. And that is, don't assume anything.
Very good advice.
So, yeah. So, when you assume that your teenager is telling you the truth, nope. Don't assume. When you assume that your husband has taken out the trash, nope. Don't assume that either. When you assume that your kid has cleaned up her room, nope. Hasn't happened.
Yep.
So, kind of lived my life with those 3 words.
There you go.
So
that's good advice.
Yes, we are not going to make any assumptions here.
Take life as it comes.
And then I take a deep breath.
Exactly. And do whatever it is you have to do right now.
Do whatever it is you have to take care of business. So those are good words of advice.
Snappy advice from us. What do you know?
Yeah, I know. Not too bad. Well, and if our listeners have any words of advice, please share them. And remember, you can hear a new Speed Round every Wednesday through Friday.
Listen to Speed Round. That's for...
Yeah.
Or
just listen to our podcast. There you go.
There you go. Words to live by. Now we are going to bring you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you in our Roundabout Roundup. Nicole, what are you rounding up this week?
Oh my goodness. So.
That sounds promising.
I have discovered the smart plug.
Tell me.
And yes, it's on Amazon.
I have many dumb plugs, so I'm interested.
This is a very smart plug. I got mine off of Amazon. I'm sure you can get them anywhere, but you plug it into the wall and then take an item that you're able to turn on and off and plug that into the plug. Mm-hmm. And then you pair your plug with your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever it is, right? Uh-huh. And then using an app, so the one that I use is called Kasa, Kasa. You can basically control that item with your phone. Nice. So I have got a smart plug for my Christmas tree lights, my outdoor lights, and I've got a third one, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. Maybe the coffee maker. But yeah, I just go to my phone at night when it's time to go to bed, because we've had timers before for our Christmas lights, and they're just a nuisance to, I don't know, we just never really, figuring it out and turning it on and off and all that kind of stuff. So now when I just go to, when I go to bed, or if I'm, if I want to turn the lights on, I just open up the app on my phone and click on.
Very neat.
And there they are.
And I've heard people pair them with, if you have like a Alexa or one of those, you can tell Alexa to turn on the lights or whatever it is that you have hooked up.
Robots going to take over our home. They're going to kill you in your sleep.
I love it because you can even, like, if you're away from the house, well, I mean, I guess you could have done that with a timer, but I don't know whether this is just different. I just feel like it's more manageable.
Yeah.
Because I know a couple times we would go away and our timer wouldn't work or it didn't turn on when we wanted it to, so this is way more manageable. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have fun with it.
That sounds neat.
So that's my shout out.
Okay. Catherine, what are you shouting out this week?
Well, I feel like there was something that I wanted to say that I cannot remember right now. So I'm going to go with the annual Hater's Guide to the Williams-Sonoma Catalog that came out recently and is,
sounds
a
wonderful.
holiday season highlight. So you should check that out. It's an annual delight.
Can you share one item from it? Do you have it there open?
I don't have it open, but there's one thing where they talk about these. It's like a cheese forks or something, and it talks about how you can enjoy your cheese with the tools that were made specifically for it. And so then he's like, "What did we do before this? Did we just look at a beautiful hunk of Parmigiano Reggiano and say, well, I don't have the right fork, into the trash with you." Yeah, but the really crazy expensive things are like a coffee maker that costs $4,000, and some sort of a wine dispensing system that's also like thousands of dollars and super unclear what it does. So yeah, but you just have to read it because it is worth it.
That sounds like fun.
Every year.
I always used to love looking through that catalog, but yes, totally in the way of this is stuff I can never afford and would never buy, but boy, it looks pretty. All those catalogs. I don't get that many catalogs anymore, but I have a few places like that I just look through and go, if I had money. Mm-hmm. But I really think I can eat cheese probably with my
I think you're capable.
Knives.
Mm-hmm.
Cheese doesn't last very long in our house. It's a popular item.
Did you know, by the way, just a brief digression, that if you fly nowadays, you will be asked if you're carrying any cheese or sausage or other dense food in your carry-on bag. Yes. Really? They're starting to ask that now.
Wow, I never heard that.
And is it because it could be a danger, or is it because nobody wants to smell that for the entire flight?
No, it's because I guess in the X-ray machine, it looks like a plastic explosive. So.
Oh.
Is that a sausage in your luggage?
Yeah. Okay.
So you just happy to see me. So be aware if you're flying, and you will have to account for any cheese.
Sausages.
Suppose maybe flying home from somewhere, if you had gone to, I don't know, say Wisconsin and picked up some cheese, and then on the way home.
That's what my husband did a couple months ago.
Did he have any trouble?
No, he brought home like
you
pounds
just have
and
to
pounds
say
of it.
that you have it.
Half of Wisconsin.
You have to declare your cheese.
Well, I mean, you have to declare it if you're flying internationally anyway. But I didn't. When I go back and forth to Canada, I always have to declare my chocolate and my ketchup chips.
Yes. Do they make you leave a bag just to pay off the...
I haven't been asked yet because I'm talking to Americans
and they don't understand what they're missing.
They're just they have no clue what I'm talking about.
I would be saying, ma'am, I think you have to open one of those bags and we have to make sure that there are actually potato chips in there. And then once you've got it open, you're not going to share?
How rude. That's not very Canadian of you.
That's right.
I know. So un-Canadian.
Say you're sorry and give me a check. Well,
what are you sharing?
For my roundup today, you reminded me of something the other day, Catherine. You sent me a video of Cynthia Erivo and Shoshana Bean, who are both Broadway singers, doing Taylor Swift's I Did Something Bad with just strings behind them, which was quite beautiful and striking because they just sat there looking fierce as they sang this thing. And it reminded me of one of my favorite Taylor Swift covers, which is a mashup of Blank Space and Style from the 1989 album, done by two, I think there were two college students in Nashville who just were kind of playing around with the different songs and harmonized together on this. And then they had somebody do a very simple video of them singing this mashup in harmony, but they're just standing on a road and the camera is kind of circling around them. It was beautiful. Louisa Wendorff and Devin Dawson were their names. And it was really, Taylor Swift said she was obsessed with it, and it just blew up, and they both got a fair amount of attention from it. And I've been sort of following Devin Dawson and listening to some of his stuff on SoundCloud and really enjoying it. And he finally has do we call them albums anymore?
Sure.
He has a formal collection of songs coming out in January, and 4 or 5 of them are available now on Apple Music, and I imagine any place that you stream music. So if you like country music, check him out. I really have enjoyed his music. I still go back and play that mashup of the two of them singing. It's just gorgeous.
It really is.
And I enjoy his stuff very much too. So you may never have heard of him if you don't remember him from that, but we'll put a link on the podcast and go check him out. Listen to some of his stuff, and you may find a new artist to follow.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, then we will move on to our final segment today, our Shameless Self-Promotion, where we direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. So, Nicole, what do you have?
Well, since I'm not doing a lot of writing these days, I'm going to direct people to another place on the web where they can get more inclusive class type resources. And that is my LiveBinder, which is on LiveBinders.com. And years ago, actually even before I started my blog, I began to put things in there that I found online that would be helpful for including different types of learners in the classroom. So, and I add to it every couple months. I'll go in there and add more stuff to it. So it's just kind of a repository for bits and pieces.
Excellent.
With, kind of nothing really strung together, but just forms and checklists and things
just
that you can have a look at.
Treasure hunt.
Be helpful.
To go in there and see what you find.
Yeah, you can go down that dark tunnel and have fun with it.
Great.
So, yeah, it's at livebinders.com.
All right.
Nice.
And Terry, what do you have?
Well, I did actually write something last week when
Yes,
I did
you
my,
did.
I'm going to say I'm going to write something, and then it will force me to write something in the time between when we record and when it drops. So I actually did this week. So if you didn't believe me last week, go ahead and take a look at my blog on momandhoodblogspot.com. You'll actually find new content. I wrote y'all a poem. But for this week, I think years ago on my About.com special needs site, I wrote some special needs Christmas carols. There's a little bit of humor for the season, and I did some graphics for them. And I'm sure they're no longer on that About.com site. And so I'm going to try to bring them over to maybe my Facebook page and maybe my website, Mothers with Attitude, and I'll mention it on the blog too. So we'll have a link to it in the show notes. But basically, if you go to motherswithattitude.com or you go to my Facebook page, Terry Morrow on Parenting Special Needs, you can find them. Give yourself a little laugh as, the traditional Christmas carols we know and love are adapted to our particular special needs as families of kids with differences.
Great. Okay, and I'm going to just share something I had written at Highlights. Did I say this last week? I wrote 31 stories for them in 2017.
Yeah.
So I always have something. This one is must-have toys for babies. And it's not really, specific brand name items. It's more like, have a stuffed animal and have blocks and those kind of things. So different, more general groupings and ideas of what What toys will stand the test of time for your baby and toddler?
Excellent. You know, I think Nicole and I are going to have to start borrowing some of yours. If you've got 31,
I think so.
you know, we'll just pretend like we wrote them,
We'll promote for you.
We'll mention them in the Roundabout Roundup, just so that they all get a shout out.
Yeah.
So you have so much, and we have so little. It's kind of unfair. We'll just do, you know, how TV Avalanche did an all Parks and Rec episode. We'll just do an all things that Catherine has written episode. We can base each topic we do on one of your articles, and we'll burn through them.
That's a good idea.
Each of us will give you our slot, so
I will have a lot to say.
Future theme episode coming up, y'all.
And until then, that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout.
Yay.
We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe so you get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Erdix, Terry is at Mamatude, and Catherine is at C. Haleko. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too. Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on all the stories we mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Moran at johnjmoran.com for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.